All right, so this week I'd like to start the podcast with a little song. Are you ready? Happy birthday, dear Sci Guys. Happy birthday, dear Sci Guys. Happy birthday, dear Sci Guys. Come on, Corey, join in. Happy birthday to you.
Sci Guys.
We have now been doing the podcast for 26 weeks.
That's a half a year.
A half a year.
And to celebrate, if you're watching on YouTube, you will already know this, but James is sitting in the host chair.
Am I? Oh, I am.
I didn't realize it was the host chair until today. I thought it was just my chair.
No.
Yeah, but you're the host.
You're
so it's the
singled
host
out.
chair.
Oh, this looks very nice. I look very good in the host chair.
So James is doing an episode today. We'll see how it turns out.
I am.
To celebrate the happy birthday.
Does that mean I'm commanding everyone?
You are. Tell us what to do.
Give me a round of applause.
Start the show.
Corey was
feel it.
reluctant, but he's obedient. Hello and welcome to the Sci Guys, the show where I've forgotten how the intro goes.
Wow, look at you go.
Hello and welcome to the Sci Guys, the show where we talk about the crazy, weird, and wonderful stories from the science world.
My name is Corey, and as usual, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jamp and Luke Cutflog.
Hello.
Today, we're talking about toxic umbrellas and killer curry.
That is a good start, James. Good
Isn't
solid
it?
title.
I thought it was really good. So, in the north of England, there is a place called Alnwick.
Is there?
And in Alnwick, there is a big castle.
Alnwick Castle.
Alnwick Castle,
Called
yeah.
Alnwick Castle, yeah.
Yes, I've been there.
And in the
I'm
grounds
not.
of Alnwick Castle, there is Alnwick Garden.
Ooh.
And in the grounds of
Alnwick
Alnwick
Garden.
Garden, there's the Alnwick Poison Garden.
Ooh.
So they've got a garden inside of a garden.
There's a garden inside of a garden.
Is the bigger garden not called Gardens? Alnwick Gardens?
No, it's Alnwick Garden.
Okay.
It's only one.
But then inside
No,
of the
because
one garden, there
I've
are
not
multiple
thought about
gardens.
this, actually. Why is it called garden?
It's a ring-shaped garden.
Right.
So the other garden isn't inside that garden. It actually is outside the perimeter of it.
Ah.
There you go.
Thanks, Corey, for educating us on Not Your
I
Episode.
made it up.
Oh, you didn't? What?
So today we're talking about the Alnwick Poison Garden, which
Interesting.
is a smaller garden inside the bigger garden.
Does it only kill nicks?
Well, it does kill nicks, but not only nicks.
But it's a nick poison garden.
Shut up. We got the joke, Corey.
Oh,
Oh, so apparently James didn't get the joke. So fantastic. Thanks for
no,
explaining.
I did, but it was cleverer than I thought. So it's actually the poison garden. It's inside, but it's boarded off by like this giant black gate.
Because it's a poison garden.
Because it's a
I
poison
assume.
garden, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have to keep all the poison inside. But there's these giant...
Famously,
The poison
poison
to
is
escape.
thwarted by gates.
No, there's a gate!
Have you never played Pokemon? Poison type is always weak to gate types.
I have never played Pokemon, so...
So on the main entrance to the poison garden, there's a
Yes.
skull and crossbones, and it says, "These plants can kill."
Wow.
It looks straight out of like some fantasy film.
Ominous.
Extra.
But
That
it's
sounds like the
it's a bit
plants are
too
going to
extra.
come and get you.
It's
Like they're
you
Venus
know,
flytraps.
You know what you're getting into.
They're not coming to get you. They stay very still.
Not all plants stay still, Corey. Venus flytraps.
They don't
They
walk
just-
on
they
the
just
little
move their
plant
mouth.
legs.
You don't know what they do when you're not looking at them.
Plants actually do move a lot. You know,
Just really
a lot more
slowly.
than you think. Yeah, if you do a time lapse of a plant, they move all the time.
Yeah, but I reckon if you did a time lapse of me, I move quite a lot more. Actually,
Well,
no,
I mean, no, you don't. You stay
Yeah.
very still.
I definitely don't move more.
You move like once on
I
a Monday
move
to
to
come
sofa,
here,
I
and then you come back to your house.
The garden is headed by gardener Trevor Jones.
I mean, that's inappropriate.
gardener's headed.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the head gardener. So the head gardener is Trevor Jones.
You got to give him some reward.
He does. He does a lot of work. You know, he's quite famous. He's got millions of views on YouTube.
Really?
He's done a video with Tom Scott.
Wow.
I've watched this video with Tom Scott.
I think I've watched this
Have
video
you?
too.
You probably have. This is why I didn't mention this to you.
Okay.
Because I was like, you've probably watched this.
Is this, do they have mandrakes there? Right.
Don't spoil the
I'm
episode.
sorry, I'm
Don't
sorry.
spoil the episode.
Okay.
So there's over 100 species of plants.
Okay.
In
That
general.
In general, but
sorry.
also inside the garden that can kill you.
God, Corey, you're doing a very good job at just annoying interruptions that James normally does.
Is this how Corey feels?
Yes. He's trying to tell a story and we're just like, blah, 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 blah.
This is horrible. This is horrible. I'm reading out all this information.
As soon as I do it, I feel bad because
Yeah.
I've been there. I get it.
Am I a joke to you? So when you go in, you're like, he does tours, by the way. Trevor does tours. He can take you around. I've actually done a tour. I've been there.
Trevor does tours. Sounds like that would be his Instagram handle.
He does. He takes people around, and he'll take you through all the plants. He'll tell you all about everything in the garden. It's very nice.
What's the point of the gates if you're going to let people in?
Well, suppose
It's for the sign.
it's for the sign. So when you enter, you're instructed not to touch, taste, smell, anything.
Lick.
Very specific instructions. I think lick counts as tasting.
Yeah, that's what if you don't have a
you
sense
don't
of
have a sense
taste?
of taste? Yeah.
Ha
I will lick what I please.
I guess that's a bit ableist of me. It's quite a bit ableist.
Not being able to taste is a disability now.
It is. I mean, it literally is.
I mean,
Disability, lacking the ability to taste. Yeah.
You are less abled. So I'm going to take you through some of the plants inside the garden, including one of the most common plants in just normal gardens and like people's front gardens.
Is
It's a plant called laurel.
Oh.
It's a hedge, and the leaves contain cyanide.
Wow.
They produce cyanide, yeah. And so Victorians used to take the leaves of laurel and put them in like weird jars, and then when they'd catch butterflies, they put the butterflies in the jar with the laurel leaves, so the butterflies would just die from the cyanide poisoning.
I feel like
What?
Victorians put a lot of stuff in weird little jars.
That's so messed
I
up.
don't understand why.
Not for like butterfly collecting.
But it was just there's a cool little fact.
So they put the butterfly in the jar so that the butterfly would eat the cyanide and die.
whether it would eat it or whether it would just be giving off fumes, because people have also reported when they have like if they take it anywhere, if they have some laurel in their car,
They die.
on a hot day. Well, they don't die, but they go a bit dizzy because because it kind of
That's the thing. A lot of
fumigates
plants.
the car.
A lot of plants can have cyanide in them. Apple seeds have cyanide.
Tiny
Do they?
bit.
Yeah.
Tiny bit, yeah.
A little bit.
interesting.
Not enough to kill it. You'd have to eat a lot of apples.
you'd have to eat a lot,
It's doable.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like because it's a natural compound. It's a carbon,
you'd have to really like apples
or really not like,
yourself.
Yeah.
Or option 3, hate apples so much that you commit suicide using apple seeds.
You're a kamikaze
to get
apple eater.
apples banned.
Oh, that's so good.
I'm going to consume all the apples so they don't exist. Some of them are less common though. Plants such as Ricinus communis.
Ooh, I love this.
Do you love it?
Yes, I do.
thought you might know something about this, but I'm gonna give the lowdown for Luke. So Ricinus communis, it has like these. It's like this small plant with some funky red flowers and funky red leaves. It's red all over. It's very, very cool. It is quite common in the UK and in most of Europe, I think, but it's not like it's something you'd find in your garden necessarily. Now, this plant produces beans, and inside the beans,
Magic beans?
magic beans that kill
Deadly
you.
beans.
Deadly beans, because they contain something called ricin.
Oh, yes.
You know ricin?
It's a super potent poison.
Very super potent.
The
It was
one
in
that they
Breaking
used on
Bad.
Alexander Litvinenko, is it not?
Yes, possibly.
I think it is.
It's because it's pretty untraceable.
Alexander Litvinenko is a guy who was killed. He was a Russian spy, and he was killed by a poisonous dart that was so... It just felt as a scratch, and it had a poison so potent that he then died from what felt like a little scratch on him.
I think you could put it on like
I've
I think someone
got
put,
a very similar story.
was it someone putting it on a tip of an umbrella and scratching someone with an umbrella?
Hence the toxic umbrellas.
Oh, very
So,
good.
It was a micro-engineered, very tiny ricin pellet. That was it. It was like a custom umbrella with a tip.
As opposed to
just
to be a custom umbrella with
just
like
to put it on
No,
the
they
top
just
of a
put it-
normal
they're-
umbrella. and
They're
go,
being sold everywhere, you know.
really sharp umbrellas.
the umbrella was designed so that when you stab it into the back of someone, it's like an instant injection.
Yeah.
It fires the pellet straight in. And that was used to assassinate, let me find his name,
Donald J. Trump. Ooh.
Georgy Markov,
Another Russian.
who was a Bulgarian
Sorry, I'm racist.
novelist and playwright.
Novelist. He wasn't even a spy.
I don't think so. I think he just wrote a lot about politics. And
Oh
so-
yeah, but that's almost more like you can
Yeah,
get
to be
more.
fair, that is worse. Yeah.
I think
going against the crown or going
Yeah.
against the government
I think-
as a writer.
I think KGB took responsibility for his assassination.
Oh,
But
very
I don't know how much is confirmed. He was killed in London. because
remember
he-
this.
He moved.
Wait, no, I
were
don't
you
remember.
alive in 1978?
No, I don't remember this. There was another one that was recent.
That was the
That was that one.
the one where the brothers who went to go and kill that guy.
Yeah. Too
And then-
many like.
And then they got arrested, and then when the police were interviewing them about the place where they were found doing the assassination, they were like, "No, we just wanted to visit this obscure random village," and then they were like, for its nice bridge. And like they basically listed the Wikipedia page of the place that they were.
God.
Oh my God.
To be fair, a lot of Eastern Europeans have been assassinated in the UK.
Yes.
That's
Because
too many.
they're-
It's
well,
easy to get confused.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the story of the umbrella. So basically, he was there was like a tiny. I can't remember how much it was. It was like the size of 10 grains of salt or something.
Wow. Tiny.
A pellet that big was put into his leg as he was waiting for a bus on Waterloo Bridge, and he died 4 days later, I believe.
And it's
it
like a
was.
horrible death.
It's a horrible death
because
because
all
it's
your organs fail.
basically, yeah, it's very, very slow. Do you know why they fail?
I do not.
So ricin inhibits your protein synthesis, I believe it's called. It starts to take effect anywhere in between 6 hours and 5 days. It affects your central nervous system, your adrenal glands, your kidneys, and your liver, mainly. And how it works is that it prevents various amino acids from assembling into the right order
Right.
by scrambling the messages it receives from RNA, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about biology, but I believe I got this right.
Corey?
It's something to do with, it's something to do with the ribosome, right?
So, okay, I know this because I studied it.
Wow.
That's why you're here.
So you've got your proteins, which are essentially assembled on the ribosome. So you take amino acids.
Sorry, what is the ribosome?
The ribosome is just a place that proteins are
Made in the cell.
made in. Cell.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'll get there. So your amino acids match up to your DNA code, essentially. And the ribosome is where you kind of like link those in together.
Right. Okay.
So that the amino acids follow that little DNA code and then join up and link in together to make a protein. But it's made as kind of a long chain, but it folds up into like whatever shape as it's being made. So I think ricin probably interrupts that bit on the ribosome where
Yeah.
they're joining in together to make a long chain.
It's basically described as interrupting the message. Yeah. Just like that. So it causes, firstly, diarrhea and vomiting.
That's always fun.
Which doesn't kill you, but it eventually leads...
You can die from diarrhea.
Well,
And
I
vomiting.
guess you can.
It's dehydration.
But I
really.
think you would first die by either circulatory shock, respiratory failure, or organ failure,
Hooray!
which is a very, very slow, horrible death.
Lovely.
I'm sure. Apparently, there is an antidote that was developed or has been developed by the UK military, but it's not been tested on humans yet.
Probably
Wow.
should,
I suppose
probably
they're
should
just
get around to
waiting.
that.
No, they were just waiting for someone to get
Might have to
have it put in their body. Because you don't want to test it, do you?
Why don't you... Oh, here's an idea. You find someone you want to assassinate, and you try to assassinate them,
Yes.
and then you give them the antidote, and if it doesn't work,
You wanted to assassinate them anyway.
yeah. But that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yes.
Princess Di.
Yeah.
So that's it on ricin.
Lovely.
We're going to move on to another plant now. We're going to move on to Brugmansia,
Lovely name.
also known as angel's trumpet, which I think is a lot nicer.
Is that because the flower looks like a little trumpet?
It does. It looks very much like a trumpet. They come in 2 shades. It's either like a white or a really pastel pink color.
Oh, that's so aesthetic.
And the pastel pink is very lovely.
Wow, you're going to get a selfie with this lovely plant, Corey.
It's
Selfie. Dead.
It's very nice. So, angel's trumpet has mild hallucinogenic effects.
Oh,
Have you got some with you?
Unfortunately, they wouldn't let me take it out of the garden. Is that tea you're drinking?
It's water.
Oh, it's water. Shame. Because old Victorian ladies used to sprinkle some of the pollen into their tea
So they could trip.
so they could basically trip and, quote, have nice tea parties.
that's
You
the
know what?
old-timey version
There is-
of brie, like
There
brie
is
parties.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. There's nothing I love more than finding out these funny ways that like
Yeah.
women have been secretly doing drugs. And my favorite one is that there is a story of this thing called brieing, where like middle-aged rich women would have parties around their house where they would get cheese brie and stuff it with MDMA.
Really?
Yeah. And then eat it and have like these funny little ecstasy parties.
Oh my God.
But they were
That
stuffing
was the
it into
last thing I was
cheese.
expecting.
It's like the most middle class, most like proper thing I've ever heard. But they're
my
also just
God.
taking loads of drugs.
Oh my God.
It would be better in camembert.
Would it, Corey?
Well, yeah.
Would it?
I just mean like camembert is nice and gooey. You can just like spoon it up. Brie.
Right.
Who wants to eat a whole wheel of brie?
Well, not me. But, you know. I
I used to love brie when I ate cheese.
It's Wensleydale. I'm a Wensleydale kind of man.
What the hell is that?
It's the one with cranberries.
I've never had that.
It's very good.
Maybe we don't get it in Australia.
Cheese Guys.
It is
New
called
podcast.
Wensleydale.
Cheese guys. It was also used by prostitutes in Paris, and when they would have climates.
Climate change?
Climate change.
What is Greta
Parisian
done to me?
prostitutes protesting pollution. Please?
That means they're not doing it, and you're begging them.
Please, Parisian prostitutes, protest pollution.
They're the
The
only ones that can
difference
save
between
us now.
global annihilation.
Parisian prostitutes are the hero we need in the climate change fight.
But they're not the hero we deserve.
Not the one we deserve. So prostitutes in Paris, when they would have clients come around, they would again give their client a drink.
Right.
They'd sprinkle some of the pollen in, and then a lot more pollen than the Victorian ladies. And so it also makes you a bit sleepy. So the clients would begin to trip a bit, and then as they get sleepier and sleepier, they would fall asleep and then have these wild sex dreams about the prostitute.
What?
And then when they sobered up and came to, they would pay the prostitute and leave without ever touching
that's
her
brilliant.
at all.
But
That's a mad. So they weren't prostitutes.
So I guess they, in a way, they weren't prostitutes.
they were just hustlers.
I'll do that. Like, that sounds great. I'll let some weird rich men trippy dream about
I can
me
see they're
naked.
not prostitutes at all. Then
Take their money and run away.
they're lending out their body in hallucination. For
How many people just overshot it a little bit and accidentally killed someone?
Oh, I'm sure that happens, yeah.
Like a lot,
Probably.
surely.
Let's move on from Angel's Trumpet. Angel's Trumpet.
That sounds like a brothel.
It does.
It sounds like a really
Parisian
sleazy
brothel.
club. Come to
Du
Angel's
trompe du Angel.
Girls, girls, girls. Angel's Trumpet. Another plant in the garden is called. I'm gonna butcher so many names in this episode. Ruta graveolens, which is also known as witchbane.
Which Bane or which Main?
Witchbane.
Which pain?
Bane of witches.
Bane of
So
witches.
would it kill witches? Is that the story?
It would drive them off, surely. At least.
So at least it would dry them off.
Oh, I've got a wet witch over here. Give me some witch bane.
Maybe that's where it came from. I didn't even think to.
I would
research
imagine
that.
it's being used as like a witch repellent or something.
So a lot of old plants, wart means plant. So a lot of old plants in way back when would have names like witchbane, dog's ear, and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they'd be brewed into
Monk's
like
hood.
yeah,
Yeah.
be brewed into potions. So they're actually just plants that you have nowadays. Most of Harry Potter stuff is just plants you've got nowadays.
Like
Mandrakes.
Mandrakes, which we'll get to. So, witchbane contains another word I'm going to butcher. Furanicumarins,
Nice.
which is a phototoxic poison
Oh, I love phototoxic.
that causes severe sensitivity to the touch of sun.
What?
If
So-
your child touches you, you will start burning.
Basically,
your male child.
if you touch this plant, it leaves a sap on your skin.
Right.
And then exposure to sunlight will result that area to start blistering.
Like the opposite of photosynthesis.
Like the opposite of photosynthesis.
Like terrible for life.
degradation.
and eventually, it will, if you stay in the sun long enough, it leads to third-degree burns.
What?
It's very painful. And actually, one of the senior gardeners in the Alnwick Poison Garden one day was walking by those plants, the witchbane, and saw a weed growing out near it, and decided just without a glove, just pull up the weed. It's fine.
Silly
Got rid of
man.
it.
Your job is working in a poison
I
garden.
think it was a woman.
Oh, sorry for
I-
Women can be
assuming.
in senior positions.
I assumed it was a man.
Men, shut up.
No, this was a man. I've heard this story. That was a
I
man.
No,
think
it's a she.
honestly, I think I assumed it was a
What?
man because that was such a stupid thing to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
make that mistake. Women can be stupid too, I guess. That's gender equality.
Yeah, so as soon as she pulled up the weed, within an hour she had blisters, and then eventually she had third-degree burns.
I mean, wear some bloody gloves. You're working in a poison garden. You should
I
have
know.
gloves on you
Just
at all times.
Literally just put the gloves on.
I would have like a spacesuit on.
Similar to the witchbane is an actual weed called the giant hogweed. Now, these do grow in gardens occasionally, but they're a bit rarer. They do occur a lot in the UK. These are weeds that can grow to 12 feet tall.
Wow.
They are big, and even the flowers on them can get to 2 feet wide.
That's too big.
They are proper big. They've actually got one in the poison garden, and it like towers above everyone. I think theirs is about 8 feet tall, but they
I
can get
like-
4 feet taller than that.
Are normal stinging nettles in the garden? Because those are poisonous, technically. It's a type of poison.
Probably, but I think they're kind of less memorable compared
sure.
What's really cool about stinging nettles is that you can pop a balloon with them, I think.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got loads of balloons at home because we've just had a party, and we've got stinging nettles in our front garden. I'm going to go out and
Try
pop all
it,
the balloons.
Because they're basically hypodermic needles.
Wow.
They just inject poison into you.
Okay, well, as you're listening to this, go onto the Sci Guys Instagram at Sci Guys Pod.
You're gonna record a
and
video?
I will record my attempt to pop
Do
the
it.
balloons with stinging nettles, and I'll put it up there when this episode goes up.
Wait, it's either you can pop one with them, or they're so sharp that it doesn't pop the balloon.
That doesn't make it. Oh, because it goes through.
Because
and
it
then
goes
it's
through,
fine.
and it's so thin.
So the giant hogweed, it's very similar to the witchbane, but it's just on a way bigger scale. If you touch it, it leaves a sap on you, and then you blister and burn in sunlight.
So is that
Which isn't fun.
But this is a poison garden. Is that technically poison?
So
Because it's just creating a horrible effect.
It is a phototoxic poison, so I guess it can kill you, but
so a
I
poison,
think that's a bit of a reach.
Well, poison is a very broad term.
Right.
Effectively, it if it interrupts your body's processes for a negative effect, it's a poison.
But that's not interrupting your body's processes. It's just burning you. It's like you wouldn't say a stove is interrupting your body's processes.
It's burning you by making your skin more sensitive to sunlight.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
fair
it's
enough.
it's interrupting your body's processes to make your skin more sensitive to sunlight.
I guess I don't know how it works because I figured when you were talking about it that it takes in the sunlight, say, and turns it into heat, and then your body burns.
So
Yeah.
Sunlight can give you usually a 1st degree burn. So a 1st degree burn is the surface layer. A 2nd degree burn will blister, and a 3rd degree burn is right through to the
Epidermis.
a lower layer of flesh.
How deep is that though? Because it's only like a millimeter or two, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not very deep.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
not very
hugely deep.
I mean, it's deep compared to like your skin.
Yeah, it's quite deep.
For your skin, it's quite deep.
But yeah, it makes your skin more sensitive to sunlight rather than constant. It's not like a magnifying glass so much as it is. Hey, skin, you can't defend against UV rays anymore.
That's sad.
Good luck.
I don't know how it would kill you. I guess I don't know.
I
Maybe
think
good. I do take issue with.
You can die from just excessive burns.
Yeah.
I guess. Another plant in the garden is called Atropa belladonna.
That's pretty.
Isn't it pretty? Belladonna is actually Italian for beautiful woman.
What's atropa Italian for?
Good question.
good question, beautiful woman.
Good question, beautiful woman.
Thank you. Well,
This plant is also known as deadly nightshade.
Oh yeah, I know this.
Yeah, you know this?
Yeah.
Deadly nightshade produces these very juicy looking black berries. They look like blackberries, but they're deadly blackberries.
hang on. I go to the forest sometimes and eat the blackberries.
You can tell a bramble from a blackberry. You should be able to tell a bramble from a deadly nightshade.
Yeah, but I've never paid attention to. I've just thought
Then you're
it's
a
like,
fool.
these are definitely blackberries.
You're a fool.
They look a lot better than blackberries, so if it looks too nice,
They looked really good, to be fair.
Well, you're not dead. That's all.
I think you're safe.
Yeah.
So 3 of these berries, only 3 is enough to kill a child.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Enough to kill a child.
I am a child, and I've eaten more than 3, so.
I remember when my granddad moved to this big house out in the country, and there were brambles. There was fruit and stuff growing all throughout the garden, and he was like, "You cannot eat any of this because
Really?
Well,
He just wanted it all for himself.
well, no,
Greedy.
a lot of poisonous berries and stuff look really good.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, they look like those little, there's these little red berries on the way home, from the station.
I
growing
think,
from
I think
trees.
I know where you're talking
And
about,
every
yeah.
single time I see them, I want to eat them.
So if you want to know where Corey and James live, look for tasty berries.
But isn't a rule of nature like don't eat black or red things usually?
Yes. Don't eat things that are black or red.
Don't eat things that are black or red because it might be poison.
Right, well, I'm not going to the forest again. 'cause
Bright
they're
colors,
too tempting.
bright colors mean poison, and black
which
is star.
is
It's a star.
Equally bright.
Yeah. Black is the brightest of all the colors.
Basically, just don't eat stuff you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson I've learned today. Thanks, James.
Just go to Sainsbury's.
Or feed it to a child.
Ingesting these berries can lead to. I don't know why the first one says dry mouth. That's very.
Oh no, my mouth is
Oh,
so dry.
No, I've been poisoned. Ingesting these berries can lead to dry mouth, dilated pupils, vomiting, drowsiness, delirium, and in the worst non-fatal cases, convulsions and comas.
Very nice.
If you eat too many of them, they will kill you though.
But they're just so Moorish. I can't stop. My mouth is so dry, but I need more.
Maybe if I eat more, my mouth will get less dry. It's just getting more dry.
The more we talk about
Maybe
it,
I'll eat more.
the more we talk about it, the drier my mouth feels. I'm just like, I need to
I'm just getting really hungry thinking of these really juicy berries. Someone send us some deadly nightshade, please. I would like to try it.
Don't send us some deadly
Please, look,
nightshade.
Please don't.
3 berries can kill a child,
Let's
right?
hit up Trevor Jones.
Therefore, I can have 1.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I can
It
have
will lead
1
to
berry.
it will lead to vomiting, drowsiness, delirium.
I'm used like it's just vomiting and being drowsy. That's fine. I
Is
can
that
deal with
worth
that.
1 berry?
I want to see what it's
I
like.
actually found nothing about how they actually taste. So maybe they taste nice.
I mean, I feel like if they tasted really good, they wouldn't be advertising it. Like the tastiest. Maybe that's the thing. Deadly Nightshade doesn't do any of this. They're just really, really tasty.
Yeah.
And people don't want them eating them.
Yeah, maybe imagine if you like looked
It's like
up
a
the
secret
berry.
hidden club.
None of these plants are deadly. They just taste really good. That's what it is.
And the queen wants to eat them all for herself. So she's spreading disinformation. Nobody eats the berries that are very tasty. And then you spot her in the dead of night, face covered in berry juice.
I love berries. No one will ever believe you. Mine, all mine.
So I hear you asking,
Yes.
where does it get the name Atropa Belladonna from?
Oh, yes.
That's because Belladonna means beautiful woman in Italian. And it got this name from Venice,
Which is in Italy.
which is in Italy.
That would make sense.
That would make sense. And it comes from the fact that Venetian ladies used to take these berries and they would squeeze the juice into their eyeballs
What?
so that their pupils would dilate. And that was like conventionally pretty in Venice back then.
Man, that's some messed up stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, women use poisons in weird ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really strange.
So they were the magical
You don't
beautiful
need big
berries that would
pupils.
make you
You're beautiful anyway.
Yeah,
Crazy
you don't-
Venetian ladies.
You don't need slightly bigger pupils to be pretty. A lot of them wouldn't lead to blindness though, as Atropa Belladonna does.
It does
And
lead
so
to blindness.
It does lead to blindness.
Oh.
So these ladies would squeeze the juice in to make themselves pretty for so many years, and then they'd eventually just go blind.
The curse.
I mean,
I think there's a Greek
worth
tale
being-
about
Things,
that.
the things
There's a-
people do for beauty.
There's a Greek myth or something about that, or there's some kind of like moral story where it's like you get beauty, but then you go blind and you can't see your beauty, and you realize that beauty was pointless the whole time. So that's quite lovely, really. It's a lovely little tale of.
it's lovely that these women went
these women
blind.
blind. No, that's not what I mean. It's a lovely moral to a horrible story.
I know you're blind, but it's very good for this moral story I've made.
I get what you mean.
Stop misrepresenting everything I say.
Let's leave the berries off there. We're going to move on to another plant called henbane.
Is that to keep hens away?
I really wish it was. It's very similar to Atropa Belladonna, though.
It's very similar.
It's very similar to Atropa Belladonna, but instead of berries, it flowers instead. And the flowers are very, like, exactly the same to Atropa Belladonna. But instead of tasting them, they let off a scent. They release it into the air instead. And if you get too close or if you inhale some
Whoa,
of it,
it's like an airborne poison.
it's like an airborne poison.
Wow. That's not fair.
I know. So if you get too close to it,
That's not fair at all, because like the whole thing about poison is to stop you from, damaging the plant.
yeah.
That's why it would have evolved.
Yeah.
But like this is like, don't even come near me, man.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
kill you.
It's like the plant equivalent of like a spitting cobra.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not fair.
You're too close to my personal space. Stay away or you are dead.
Yeah. At this point in the tour, when the gardener points it out, it forces you to stay back. And he's like, don't get too close to this one because they have about, I think he said on average 3 faintings per week.
Wow.
Because of people getting too close.
I just wanna go near
They
it.
put it down to henbane.
Question.
So much to the point where they had to install a bench next to the henbane. Well, a bit further away from the henbane.
A bench next to
Not
I
next
know
to
what
it.
to do. Let's sit people down next to this deadly plant.
They installed a bench a healthy distance away from the henbane so that when people, because they can get up to 3 a day, they said, but the average is about 3 a week.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever died in the poison garden?
I don't think so.
Someone has died because of it.
People have died because of it, yeah.
What do you mean?
As in, there's a,
The poisons take longer to kill you than it takes
Yeah,
to get
that's
you
what
out
I
of the
mean.
garden.
Has anyone died as a result of being in the poison garden?
there was a gardener that was thought to have died because of working in the poison garden, and that was put down to a plant called Aconitum napellus, which is also known as monk's hood.
Which is in Harry Potter. You use it to make
Monk's blood and wolfsbane.
Yeah.
To make
Yeah.
what is it? To make a what's the difference between monk's
Monk's
hood
hood
and
and
wolfsbane?
wolfsbane. I don't know, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
they're the same plant.
yeah,
Shut
yeah,
up,
yeah,
Hermione.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
I remember that now. So yeah, he was working with Aconitum, and several days later he was down somewhere closer to London. This was in 2015, and he just died.
Oh.
Oh, people just die sometimes.
People just die
That's
sometimes. And it was put down to working with Aconitum, yeah.
Aconitum,
So-
is that like aconite in Harry Potter?
I guess it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Harry Potter references in this.
Is there any dittany? You can use that to heal any wound.
Dittany doesn't
wish.
exist, though.
I was going to say.
It speeds up time on the wound. It's not a thing that has
My
any
research
analog
wasn't
in the real
thorough.
world.
My research wasn't thorough enough. Speaking of wolfsbane,
Yes.
wolfsbane is in the garden.
Oh,
Wolfsbane was actually used there was a giant murder trial about 10 years ago, I think.
someone killed a giant.
Where? Stop it. I have to double check all my words now. There was a murder trial about 10 years ago where a lady put wolfsbane in her ex-partner's curry. Oh yeah. Hence the killer curry.
Wow, you did it.
Yeah, I did it. We got there. So after she had a falling out with her ex-partner, they spent some time apart, but then he ended up getting a new partner and they got engaged, and she didn't like this very much. So she snuck into his house where him and his new fiance were staying, and she put some wolfsbane in his curry. Just mix it in.
So
and
they
then
were cooking a curry. She snuck in,
They
put
were-
it in whilst they were cooking the
while
curry.
they were cooking the curry. I don't know how this came about. I don't know how she didn't get caught. Maybe she did get caught. I don't know.
I mean, she must have got caught if there was a murder trial.
Yeah.
But even then, I would just not eat the curry.
But imagine presenting that in court as like your explanation for the murder. That like she snuck in the house whilst they were cooking curry and put this obscure plant in the curry.
She put some
and
wolf
then
space.
snuck away.
She put some seeds in. She just crushed up the seeds and sprinkled the seeds in.
If I was in that jury, I would not agree with that. I would genuinely find her not guilty.
Do you know if the ex-husband died and the new partner?
So the ex-husband died. He collapsed. I think it was within. Hold on, let me double check. I think it was in a few hours. So yeah, after eating his curry, he went back for a generous second helping.
Fatal.
Don't be greedy.
Yeah.
It's gluttony. There you go. That's another moral story for you, Luke.
No, don't get seconds of curry.
And it was said
Just
that
curry.
It sounds.
it was they say it was actually the second helping that killed him because he died within a few hours.
This does sound like an Indian fable. Like,
I think
don't
if
hog all the curry.
That's actually really funny.
His fiance, however, she had a fight for her life in hospital. She had a close call with death, but she ultimately survived
Because she didn't get seconds.
and testified because she didn't get seconds.
There you
Wow.
go. Do you know what? That's
And
the thing,
and
though.
she testified.
That's the thing. Don't be gluttonous, and you might survive being poisoned.
Exactly.
Wow. Great message.
Exactly.
Thanks, Aesop.
Now we come to a plant called mandragora.
Mandrake or
Mandragora.
It's also known as mandrake.
It looks like a little baby.
It does.
Mandrake has become quite popular
That's
over
my
the past couple
favourite.
decades. Do
Yeah.
you know why?
Well, it's because in Harry Potter,
This little book.
they pull it up. And what's really great about it is that the reason why it's like tied to the Harry Potter story is because if you actually pull up a real mandrake plant, the root does look like a little baby.
Looks weirdly like a human.
Yeah.
That's that's all that lore in Harry Potter comes from actual real life lore that people thought that it was a little baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing about
And
the
people
thing,
actually reported that they heard screaming when they used to pull it up, which is where the screaming comes from.
Really?
Yeah.
My favorite thing about the mandrakes in Harry Potter is when Professor Sprout says that they're nearly ready.
Yeah.
She says, soon they'll start moving into each other's pots, which is like a really obscure way of saying the mandrakes are getting horny.
The thing is, like, if you read this is completely absent in the film.
Sorry. The sentence is, as soon as they start moving into each other's pots, we'll know they're fully mature. And it's like, wow, horny mandrakes.
Oh,
If you read this is absent from the films. If you read the books, you do get like the life cycle of the mandrakes
Yeah.
just periodically throughout the
Yeah.
books as they're waiting for them to grow up.
Although the story does go that they become horny mandrakes and then we kill them and use them to
To unpetrify some children.
yeah.
the thing about mandrake though is that the entire plant is poisonous. And
Sad.
so eating it, or
Well, don't
you
eat
know,
babies.
don't eat babies.
Don't eat anything with a face.
Just try not to eat any babies.
Well, yeah, but in Harry Potter they probably cook it. Whereas if you ate raw mandrake, it's poisonous. But maybe when you cook it,
Well, it's a
combine
potion.
it into
Maybe
a
it's
potion,
fine.
yeah,
Because a lot of they use monk's food and wolfsbane and stuff.
and that's poisonous.
That's
Also poisonous.
But they use magic to make it.
Of course.
There's one more plant I want to talk about.
Weed. It just sounds like is that actually?
Yes.
It
Cannabis.
sounded like you were setting up for a stoner talk.
Yes.
What?
Because it's the only plant in the garden that's kept in a cage.
I cannot believe I guessed that correctly.
It's kept in a cage.
Kept in a cage.
Yeah.
Don't
Is that
let it escape.
Is that to stop all the teenagers that are going past from like nicking a few buds?
Basically, I also think it's part of their license because they have a license from the Home Office to grow cannabis.
That is hilarious that
Let me get
they
back to you
have
on
a
that.
garden full of poisonous stuff and they put cannabis
Yeah.
in a cage.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because-
here's what it is. They're actually drug dealers,
Right.
and the poisonous stuff is to keep people away from their cannabis.
Crop.
That's why it's in a cage.
No, I thought it was in a cage because it's really strong and it would fight. It's like the Hulk.
Well,
It is green. Just like the
Most
Hulk.
plants are green.
Just like the Hulk.
I'd wager a bet that at least 60% of the plants we've spoken about today are green.
Wait, hang on. But so can the Hulk photosynthesize?
Not everything that's green has chloroplasts, Luke.
But there's no law that says he
Is Jamp
cannot.
had one of these plants?
I'm dying.
He's been smoking weed. That's what's happened.
So that was too big.
Cannabis, it kills, kids.
The reason it's in there
Yeah.
is because the
Poisonous to the minds of children, James.
Yes, it is. That's it.
Was that actually
The
why?
Duchess of Northumberland, Jane Percy, requested that it be in there to teach children about the dangers of drugs.
Okay, what's happening here is I keep saying ridiculous things and, they
keep
turn out to
coming
be true.
That's exactly why I wanted to talk about it.
Are you telling me that they made this entire poison garden just to say drugs are bad?
Yes.
I've gone from loving this garden to hating this garden.
is the
They've not even
funniest
put any
thing.
of the dangerous drugs in. Like,
Yeah.
look, weed is illegal, and that is, that's fine. It, whatever reason. Other drugs
It is-
can properly kill you.
It is
Yes.
arguably the least
This is
dangerous
the, this,
drug.
Yeah.
it's the least offensive,
That's
the least
mad.
dangerous.
They haven't put like heroin poppies in
Poppies,
there.
are there poppies in there?
No, potentially. But no one mentions it. They only
That
ever
is
mention
so
cannabis.
funny. That is like so clearly like the most transparent propaganda I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
built a whole poison garden to go
Just to hide the
"Weed's
fact they've got
bad."
some cannabis because it's dead. I'm pretty sure it's dead center in the garden.
I bet they do free
It's
school
a,
trips as well.
giant
Like,
cage, and you can just see the cannabis growing inside.
imagine building an entire garden that could possibly kill children. Bear in mind there are like berries there that 3 of them a kid is gone.
That causes
Just
three,
to tell them
three
that-
people on average per week to faint.
From smoking too much
exactly.
weed.
Exactly.
Just to take people
Just
in
to
and go,
tell kids,
did you know drugs are bad?
hey, see this plant? See how it looks? You don't touch this plant.
Wow.
That's like an evil
And
Garden
all
of
the
Eden.
ones that can actually kill you are not caged.
That's so funny.
It's literally a reverse Garden of Eden, where the one harmless thing is in the center, and you're definitely not allowed to touch it, but go around all these dangerous things.
Good going, Jane Percy.
That is so funny.
So
I
mad.
know. That's why I wanted to leave it to the end because it's just like such a downer. It's like, oh, so disappointing. And that is the episode.
Well done, James.
Good job.
Good episode.
I'm glad. Thanks for watching. You can find the full references for this video in the description. Why don't you subscribe for new episodes every Sunday?
James is definitely not reading the outro off my phone.
Definitely not. Subscribe for new episodes every Sunday, and why not leave us a nice wee comment?
Yeah.
You can follow me at Jampkin everywhere.
You can follow me at Not Connery everywhere.
You can follow me at Luke Cutforth everywhere.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.